A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, Almost Human, by Robert Bloch. Have you heard of the new science called cybernetics? It concerns man's efforts to develop a perfect thinking machine, a robot electronic brain that will not only do man's work, but even do his thinking for him. A robot that is almost human.
It's not impossible at all. In fact, one day, something like this may happen. A tall, suave gentleman in a black raincoat will walk down the street until he reaches a shuttered, isolated house. And then he will slowly mount the front steps, push the doorbell.
Just a minute. I said just a minute. Hold your horses. What do you think you'd...
Good evening, my dear.
Duke, why did you come here?
Curiosity, darling. I've been thinking over what you told me at our chance meeting last week.
Duke, you promised me.
I decided to come and take a look for myself. Where is the professor?
In his study.
Where's Junior?
In the nursery.
The nursery? How quaint. And you, I take it, are Junior's nursemaid?
I help the professor.
Tell him he has a guest.
Duke, he's a nice old guy. Don't
Tell
you...
him, darling.
All right.
Yes? What is it, Miss Williams?
Professor Blassman, a gentleman...
Here? I don't understand. I gave orders no one was to be admitted to the house.
He insisted.
Very well. Wait here. I'll get rid of him. Sir?
Professor Blasserman, I've come to see Junior.
Junior? There must be some mistake. There are no children in this house. I don't...
Professor, what you feel pressing against your belly is the muzzle of a .45 caliber pistol. Now, shall we visit Junior?
How... What do you know about...
I know everything. Shall we go inside?
I warn you.
On the contrary, I warn you.
Very well. This way. This is the nursery.
Where's Junior?
In the next room. Behind the door with a panel in it.
Very considerately furnished. Mother Goose figures on the walls. Blackboard, toy blocks. Panda. Bunny rabbit doll. Touching. All right, let's see him.
You can look through the panel.
Mary had a little lamb.
Oh, wow. Who'd have believed it? Junior isn't very pretty, is he?
I was not concerned with aesthetics.
Why do you hide him? Is he dangerous?
The world is not yet ready for such a thing. Besides, I must study. As you can see by his play, he is very young, hardly out of the cradle. I am educating him.
With nursery rhymes?
The brain is undeveloped. It must learn its behavior patterns like any infant.
You call that 8-foot monster an infant?
Physically, of course, he'll never change. He is built of chrome steel and glass. But his brain, that is my wonderful instrument. Unlike a human, he has no heritage, no basic instincts such as love or hate. These he has yet to learn. In some respects, he is like a blank tablet. What is written upon the tablet will remain.
You mean he has no feelings?
He will learn quickly. And now, if your curiosity is satisfied, I trust you will keep my secret. If anyone discovers...
Open the door.
Point... I beg your pardon?
The door, Professor.
Very well. Junior, come here.
What a monster.
Papa.
He talks?
Yes. Mentally, he's about 6 years old now. What is it, son?
Who is that man, Papa?
Let me handle this. You may call me Duke, son. I've come to see you.
That's nice. Nobody ever comes to see me except Lola. Play with me, Duke.
Certainly, Junior. Oh, and Professor.
Yes?
While we're playing, you can have Lola and Miss Williams prepare my room.
Your room?
I forgot to tell you, I've decided to stay until the climate changes and I can go out again. Meanwhile, I'll have a chance to play blocks with Junior. Understand?
I begin to understand. You are hiding from the law.
As you wish. All right, Junior. Your move.
Let's build a bridge.
I have a better idea, Junior.
What?
Let's build a coffin.
A coffin? I don't know that word.
Then I'll teach you, Junior. I can see the professor has been neglecting the moral side of your education. Very sadly.
You shouldn't have come here, Duke.
Why not, my dear? Afraid of me?
No, I'm afraid of myself. You're no good for me. You've always brought me trouble.
Except this time. This time it will be different, darling. This time I'll bring you diamonds.
Duke, what have you been teaching that thing?
Nothing, honey. I've just been playing with them. Very educational.
I don't believe you.
What's bothering you, Lola?
Today when I walked in there, he said to me, I know how to kill people, Lola. I'll kill you if you want me to.
He's learning very quickly.
Duke, I'm scared of that thing. It's unholy, a machine that acts like a human with a voice grinding after saying things you'd expect from a child.
You dislike him so much. Why did you take this job as his nursemaid?
Because I wanted to start over again. I answered Nad. The professor didn't ask questions. I would have been all right, too, if you hadn't come along.
I'm very glad you did tell me, darling. Because Junior is going to make us two very successful people.
Ha!
Like any child, Junior listens to what he's told.
Duke, I don't know what you're teaching, Junior. But I can guess. And it isn't right. It's evil.
Now, write on the blackboard, Junior. My name is Junior.
My name is Junior.
People are evil.
People are evil.
Evil must be destroyed.
Evil must be destroyed.
The professor is evil.
The professor is evil.
The professor must...
What are you doing?
I warned you to keep out of the nursery, Professor.
Go away.
You don't even remember me.
I know you. You are the professor. You want to keep me as your slave. You didn't tell me that people are evil.
People are not evil.
People are evil. They must be destroyed.
Stop it!
I am not a child any longer.
No, you're not a child. You're a monster.
Junior,
Yes, Duke.
the time is now, Junior.
Yes, Duke.
Keep away from me. Junior! Junior, don't do it! Listen to me! Junior, listen to me! Ah!
did it, Duke.
Duke, I...
Can we go away now, Duke? I don't like it here anymore.
Duke, why did you do it?
The professor was in the way. We'll have to move very quickly now, Lola.
We?
Because if you don't plan to come along, just say so. I can have Junior write your name on his blackboard.
Where are we going?
We'll go to Charlie's.
With Junior?
With Junior.
Oh, Duke, you can't. I'm afraid.
Relax, my dear. The Duke has great plans for you two. Wouldn't you like to be independently wealthy for the rest of your life? No cares, no worries. Just good times and fine clothes all the time?
The only way you get that way is by inheriting $1 million.
Not when you have a fellow like Junior around.
I'm still afraid of him.
Junior wouldn't hurt you. You wouldn't hurt Lola, would you, Junior?
I like Lola. She's pretty.
There, you see? He thinks you're pretty. Junior's growing up. Sit down, Charlie.
Sure, Duke.
Lola and I are going to hide out here for a while. We'll need some help.
Listen, Duke, I'm trying to keep the cops away.
Sure. Now listen to me. I need a casing job done.
Oh. Sure, Duke.
You know the armored truck service?
Sure.
I want to know when they take the Acme deposits from Boston to Worcester.
Duke, you ain't thinking of a payroll truck, are you? They got cannons on those trucks. They travel in pairs. You couldn't get near one.
I asked you to do a casing job, Charlie.
Sure, Duke. Anything you say.
Find out what time they passed the narrowest and most deserted stretch of road.
Well, if you're going to pull a job like that, you'll need 50 men. You want me to get some of the boys?
I won't need anybody. I've got somebody.
Where?
He's out in the car.
Oh, what's his name, Duke? Anybody I know?
His name is Junior.
Junior? I don't know any Junior.
You will, Charlie. You will.
Sam?
Well, thanks, Al. Oh, it sure gets hot in these armored trucks, huh?
You'll get used to it.
How much we hauling this time?
About $250,000.
Brother, could I use a hunk of that?
Who couldn't?
What's the first stop?
Acme National Bank. Then we unload a payroll of the Bronson Watch plant. Hey, what's that up ahead?
It looks like something shiny on the road.
Throw up your spotlight.
Right. Smokes, you see what I see? It looks like a mechanical traffic cop.
About 8 feet tall.
Standing right in the middle of the highway. Maybe it's a Halloween gang, huh? Guess they're trying out robot traffic cops. Can you get past him?
I don't know. We'll have to slow down. Get on that gun, Sam. Let's take no chances.
Right.
I'll give it the horn.
Don't budge.
Where's our escort truck?
Pulled up right behind us.
Thing won't move.
Sure looks like something out of Buck Rogers, don't it?
That's a heck of a note blocking traffic like that. I'll have to try and get past it. Here goes.
Holy smoke, it's moving. Hell, it's coming toward us.
Get on that gun. Give it a blast.
Bullets are bouncing right off it. It's still coming. Hell, back up.
I can't. The other truck's right behind us.
Hell, it's lifting its arm. It's going to smash our window.
Jeez. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Duke, we got to quit this.
What's the matter, Charlie? Getting shaky?
The papers say he killed all 4 drivers. Listen, Duke, that robot is hot. We got to get rid of it.
Stop your blubbering. One more good robbery.
You ain't going to pull another one.
Why not?
Count me out, Duke. The law's going to track that baby.
Are you quite finished, Charlie?
You got no heart, Duke. You're like Junior, all steel inside.
And you're just a big, warm-hearted slob. I suppose flowing with the milk of human kindness.
Well, I got nerves. I can't stand that thing, the way it looks at you with that iron face and clanking around all the time. Listen, here it comes.
Hello, Junior.
Hello, Duke.
I've been talking to Charlie.
Yes, Duke.
You know what I think, Junior? I think Charlie's yellow. You know what happens to people who turn yellow, don't you?
Yes, Duke.
Tell him.
They're evil. We have to destroy them.
Huh? You see, Charlie? Junior doesn't like people who sing to the police.
Duke, wait a minute. You know I'd never turned stoolie or anything like that. I never sang to the coppers in my life. You can count
Junior.
on me. I don't want no trouble with you.
Stop him.
I wouldn't...
Yes, Duke. I stopped him, Duke.
All right. Take him down to the cellar.
Duke, that noise. Charlie! Junior, put him down.
Take him down to the cellar, Junior.
Yes, Duke.
Duke.
Relax, darling. Stop shaking.
Duke, we can't stay here. Charlie's going to be missed. He's got friends. Now we'll have the gangs after us, too.
Oh, come on now. Don't worry, darling. The Duke will take care of everything.
Where are you going?
Out to a travel agency to get some tickets. You and I are going to take a trip, Lola.
You're leaving me alone here?
Junior's here, too.
That's just it. It's being alone with that thing. Duke, I got the jitters.
Now, don't you worry. In 48 hours, you and I will be on our way to Switzerland with $500,000 worth of loot.
What about Junior?
Junior will be taken care of.
How can you get rid of him?
Junior will do anything I say. So I'll merely have him get into the furnace and sit there while I fill it with oil and set fire to it. Too bad the professor couldn't have stayed around to see him growing up. He's almost a man now, Junior is. But not quite as clever as a man. You'll find that out after he steps into the furnace.
Get rid of Junior now, Duke, before you leave.
There's no time. I'll be back about 8.
Duke, please.
And be nice to Junior while I'm gone. Don't show him you're afraid of him. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Duke.
Lola.
What, Junior?
Oil me.
Can't you wait till Duke gets back? He always oils you.
I want you to oil me, Lola.
All right.
I like you to oil me, Lola.
Yes, Junior.
Lola, do you like Duke?
Certainly.
Do you like me?
Well, you know I do, Junior.
Lola,
What?
who do you like best? Me or Duke?
I like you both, Junior.
Yes, but who do you love?
What do you know about love, Junior?
In the books, man and woman love.
No.
Lola,
What?
do you think anyone will ever love me?
Maybe. Some women can fall in love with anything, Junior. Even with something like Duke.
Why, Lola?
I don't know. Maybe because, well, as long as she thinks her man is the smartest and the strongest.
I see.
Where are you going?
To wait for Duke.
He won't be home for a while.
I'll sit in the hall and wait for him.
All right, Junior.
I want to be alone and think.
About what?
I read in a book today it was bad to kill people. What does that mean? Bad.
Bad. I don't know, Junior. I guess it's just a word.
Lola?
Hello, Duke.
Oh, it's you, Junior. Why are you sitting in the dark?
I was waiting for you, Duke.
Well, now that's a good boy, Junior.
Lola oiled me.
That's nice. I tell you what, Junior. I've got a little job for us down in the cellar. Let's go down there.
Now, Duke.
Right now, Junior.
All right, Duke. Are we going away soon, Duke?
Yes, Junior. We're going away.
What's in the cellar, Duke?
A little surprise for you, Junior. You'll find out.
So stay tuned for the latest news. And now, a brief interlude of recorded dance music.
Duke? Is that you, Duke? Junior.
Hello, Lola.
I thought I heard Duke come in.
He came in.
Where is he?
Down in the cellar.
What's he doing?
Nothing.
Did he say he'd be up soon?
No.
Maybe we better go down and get him.
He's dead.
Oh, no. No, he isn't dead.
You said the woman loves the strongest and the smartest. Well, I'm stronger and smarter.
But you aren't human.
I'm almost human, Lola.
No. No, stay away.
Lola.
Don't touch me. Those metal paws, no.
I love you, Lola.
No. No.
I love
no,
you.
No. No.
I love you. I love you.
The last thing she heard was the robot's harsh voice, droning it over and over again.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
And strangely enough, it did sound almost human.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Almost Human, a story by Robert Bloch, adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Santos Ortega as Duke, Joan Allison as Lola, Jackie Grimes as Junior, Guy Rep as the Professor, Nat Pullen as Charlie, Joseph Julian as Al, Lynn Cook as Sam, and Merrill Joels as the radio voice. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Ken McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week, when the mighty Earthmen arrive in their ships of space, courtesy and proper humility on the part of the natives is expected. But some native inhabitants are too small to be impressed. We'll see what happens to such an expedition marooned on a far planet next week at X-1.
It's a long way from the coast of California to the South Seas, but many ocean liners travel that route with no more excitement than a trolley car ride. And almost directly in the path of these steamers lies a strange, hidden island, the magic island of the South Seas. The Gregory yacht has sailed to this island in search of Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter. Now the yacht is held fast to the island by a powerful magnetic force. Jerry, Captain Bradford, and Mrs. Gregory leave the yacht. They stumble blindly through the weird yellow half-light that covers everything. Suddenly, some unseen person or phantom thing thrusts a pair of glasses into the hands of each.
Oh, Tex. Jerry, look.
They're all around us.
And we haven't heard the slightest sound.
I felt better when I couldn't see them.
Speak to them, Tex. Say something to them. They aren't making any move to harm us.
I'll go near them. You and Jerry stay. Well, I can't move.
I'm scared, too. But I can move anyway. I'll show you. And gee, I can't even move my arms.
It's almost as if we were rooted to this spot.
Gosh, why don't they move or say something?
Speak to them, Tex. Get them to move. This will drive us mad.
Steady, Patricia. These men are not savages. They're strangely dressed, but they look civilized and intelligent.
But why can't we move?
I know why, but I don't know how it's being done. I've a gun in my pocket. I can feel it being drawn downward.
Sure, that's it. Magnetism again. That's why my flashlight feels like it weighs a ton in my pocket.
Oh, my head. Something's pulling at my hair. Oh, of course, the metal hairpin. What's holding our hands and feet so still?
I think we'll find out a lot in a minute. One of those men are coming towards us now.
Yeah. His legs are moving all right. He's walking pretty fast. Say, why doesn't he get any closer to us?
Oh, this yellow light is deceptive. Probably an illusion deliberately created to throw our sense of perspective out of balance. I'll bet they don't speak English. Let me do the talking if we get a chance to do anything. Hello there. How do you do?
I guess I don't speak anything.
We'll soon find out. Well, if I could move my arms, I could shake hands with this gentleman.
I think that will not be necessary. In fact, it would not be advisable.
Golly whiskers, he can talk.
It's a relief to hear English spoken in this strange place.
This strange place? Madame is mistaken. This is a perfectly natural place. You three are the strange elements here.
Well, I guess you're right at that. We seem to have intruded upon something that's a little bit beyond our depth. What's it all about, Professor?
Oh, do not apply to me the title you confer upon your petty educators in what you so grandly choose to call your world. World, indeed. Why, you poor innocents cannot even dream of the world as it is given to us to know it. Now, I will introduce myself. I am called G47.
Gee whiz.
No, G47.
Is this real, Tex?
It is, but no one back home will believe us.
May I ask a question of you, G47?
At least, Madame Gregory, you...
He knows me.
Silence, Madame, or I shall think you as rude as your strange companions.
I'm sorry, but I was so surprised that you should know me.
I think we're going to be more surprised if we can find something this guy don't know.
You are a very observant person for one so young.
Well, before we go on with this display of our ignorance and your confounded superiority, you might at least call off your magnetic force. It'd be more comfortable if we could walk around a little.
I am disappointed in you, Captain Bradford.
Oh, you win, G47. Suppose we could have moved long ago if we'd had sense enough to try it.
You were released the moment I spoke to you. Now, if you are through gaping and wondering, I will be glad to answer Madame Gregory's question. The object of your search is here.
Then the old sailor's story was true. There is a little white girl living here.
Gee, and can we see her right away?
Yes, let's get it over with, or do we just stand here all night?
Your rudeness will be overlooked this time, Captain Bradford. You will follow me. Come.
Well, I guess nobody who saw this would ever make fun of my magic island again.
You will see no magic here. This is a land of fact. Cold, hard, scientific fact.
What you say is obviously true, but we've been accustomed to getting our facts in a little less spectacular manner. Everything here is real enough, but it's all so strange to us.
Notice how all these other men merely stand aside and let us pass. They don't look curious, happy, angry. They just don't look anything.
Guess they don't think we rate getting excited about.
On the contrary, you are rather interesting subjects. It will be a pleasure to study you at greater length when time permits.
Well, it isn't the most comfortable feeling in the world to be spoken of as a subject for study, as if we were bugs on a microscopic slide.
But remember, Pat, as long as we're being studied, we'll be alive, and while...
And while you're alive, there is always the possibility of your escape, eh?
That can wait. Please, G47, may we see the little girl?
We are nearly to the ladies' quarters now.
I imagine the ladies of your colony are kept rather well protected in the event your island might be surprised and perhaps captured, eh, G47?
Do not be unnecessarily stupid. We fear nothing.
I've got an idea he means that.
May we inquire where the ladies of your colony may be found? I see none of them.
This is the 602nd period, when the ladies are engaged in caring for their living quarters, making their dresses for tomorrow.
You mean 600 seconds as we figure time in our world?
Precisely.
But, golly whiskers, 600 seconds. That's only 10 minutes. You mean the ladies make their own dresses in 10 minutes?
And attend to caring for their living quarters in the same time? 5 minutes to make a dress, Pat.
It is a waste of valuable time, I admit. But we haven't been able to solve the problem of making a satisfactory garment in less than 300 seconds.
Good heavens, 5 minutes to make a dress, and the man calls it a waste of time.
I said 300 seconds, not 5 minutes. We have no time to deal in minutes here. Time is too precious. We measure it in seconds.
I'll bet these guys could put up the Empire State Building in their lunch hour. Boy, oh boy.
And the ladies make a new dress for every day?
Precisely. You will see all that being done and more before you leave the Isle of Euclidia.
So that's it, Euclidia. You named your scientific island for Euclid, the father of geometry.
You are learning, Captain Bradford. I am called G47, as the highest authority in Euclidia on the subject of mathematics. G for geometry, 47 for the squaring of the circle, the 47th problem of Euclid.
G47. And do all the other men on the island have names like yours?
No, they are all different from mine.
I mean, are they, do they mean something like yours does?
Everything on this island means something. The names are similar to mine. But enough with this childish prattle. Directly before you, you will notice a small, gleaming copper door. You are expected. Enter. I will return for you when the time limit of your visit is reached.
Well, if we ever wake up at all, this is going to be a dream hard to forget.
This is no dream. It's the real thing. A magic island.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Do you think we'll really see my little girl after all this? Will she prove to be my little girl? My little daughter, Joan?
Well, let's knock on this door and find out. Gee, the door opened. Without a sound before I touched it.
Are we supposed to walk right in?
You may enter.
Did you hear that?
A young girl's voice. Let's go in. What a small room. Oh, are you... How do you do?
Will you not sit down? Allow me, Mrs. Gregory. You there, Captain Bradford? And you here, Gerald.
Gerald.
Oh, Tex,
Steady, Patricia. Now take it as calmly as you can. Jerry and I will just sit quietly in the background, as far back as we can go back in this little cubbyhole. You go ahead and talk to her. Find out if... Good luck, dear.
Do you mind if I question you?
Not at all. We of Euclidia encourage conversation when the subject is of value and takes little time. Remember, we are allowed but 120 seconds for this visit.
Gee, Tex, who ever heard of a 15-year-old girl talking like that?
Hush, Jerry. Let's don't use up any of Mrs. Gregory's 120 seconds.
Your name... What are you called, my dear?
I am called Cleostra. Each one on Euclidia has a namesake in science. Cleostratus was an astronomer of ancient Greece who arranged the signs of the zodiac. I came to this island on the day the Euclideans changed the calendar from your clumsy one of 12 months of different lengths to our perfect one of 13 months. Hence, I was called Cleostra in honor of that day.
Golly whiskers. That girl knows more than my school teacher.
Hush, Jerry.
Tell me, my... Cleostra, do you know how you came to this island, to Euclidia?
Why, of course. I was cast upon the island after a shipwreck near here. I was tied to a sinking lifeboat.
Yes, Yes, that would be right. The lifeboat was sinking. All the men left it and tried to swim to safety so that you and I would have a better chance to live. I remember tying you to the boat, and then I could remember nothing else.
You remember? You tied me to that boat?
Yes, that's the last thing I remember. That was 14 years ago. You should be 15 now.
The keeper of the records tells me I am just 15. But you spoke of fastening me to the lifeboat. You? Who are you?
I am your mother. I am Mrs. Patricia Gregory.
I know all that. But you are someone else also. There is something, I cannot explain it. My feeling is strange to me. But the Euclidians have kept so much news of the world from me. I suppose we are very happy here, yet I have often wished to know something of the world. Your world. Now you've brought that to me.
Will you turn your head? May I touch you, my child?
Certainly. Oh, you feel so strange. So warm and friendly. Your hands. No one's hands ever felt like that to me before.
I knew your hair would be golden and curly, and I'm afraid to look. It would be a tiny star-shaped scar at the base of your neck. Oh, it's here. Tex. Jerry, the scar. It's Joan, my baby. My little daughter, Joan. My little girl.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon. Last week, you remember, Flash Gordon reviewed the legions of the Blue Magic Men under his command, and Prince Zarkov blasted the rock which sealed the entrance to the Blue Magic Land and discovered that his spacograph was of no use in learning what happened to Flash and Dale and Khan. He sent a spy named Mar equipped with a portable space phone to obtain the information. Mar gained entrance to the palace of Queen Azura and contacted Khan and Dale, and they informed him of Flash's peculiar behavior. At the same time, Zarkov tries to call Mar the spy by space phone, but neither was able to contact the other. At that moment, the army of Blue Magic Men attacked the Hawkmen, and Zarkov ordered his soldiers into battle. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Big Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And now we continue the story. Flash and Queen Azura watch the Hawkmen as they dive toward the army of the Blue Magic Men.
Here come the Hawkmen, my prince.
I see them, Azura. I'm just wondering which battery I shall train on them.
I suggest you use the guns of the combustion ray machine.
What will happen if I do?
Order them used and see.
Very well. All men, bring the combustion ray guns into action.
Ray guns are ready. Fire.
Ready? Then fire.
You may fire. Now you see, my prince, what the combustion ray machines do.
They cough out flaming death.
Yes, those fluttering Hawkmen can't survive such devastating heat. Look, they are already dropping to the ground like moths with singed wings.
You're right, my queen. Oh, Paul. Let them have it again.
Enemy are dropping like flies, sire, under your attack. Good work, my prince.
Those men creatures will be easily subdued when we can bring them down to earth, Azura.
Be careful you don't kill them all, Flash. Remember, I'm always able to use a few more slaves.
My beautiful Azura, I shall conquer these gnat-like intruders and turn them over to you to do with as you will.
How brave and strong you are, my prince.
I'm not doing this as proof of my strength or my bravery, Azura. I'm doing it as proof of my devotion.
Ah, you do love me, then.
You do not already realize that, my gorgeous queen. You will when this battle is ended. You will see. Death for the invaders!
Fire again! Fire again!
In the meantime, on the other side of the flaming barrage, Zarkov holds an anxious conference with one of the officers of the remaining Hawkmen.
Signal your men to retreat, Captain. There is nothing to be gained by flying into their fire.
Very well, Prince Zarkov.
Bugler, sound retreat.
What are we to do now, Prince Zarkov?
I do not know yet. What can have happened to Flash? We tried to rescue him, and he seems to give the orders that mow our men down.
Yes, I could swear I saw him raise his arm and give the signal that brought this sea of flame pouring on us, Prince Zarkov.
Can he be... Oh, no.
Can he be what, Your Highness?
I dare not even whisper the thought, Captain. I must know. I must be sure before I breathe a word of my suspicion.
If I may suggest, Your Highness, something must be done about our own safety. These flames are sweeping this way. Soon they'll engulf all of us.
Eh? The flames? Oh, yes. Lead the men into that tunnel yonder.
That tunnel? But, Prince Zarkov, there's no way in which to throw up a barricade to close out the flames.
Leave that to me. Order those turbine thermostats roll just inside the tunnel entrance.
But they will not completely close the opening, Your Highness. Oh, if we only had some stones.
What? Stones to let them become heated and roast us all? Do as I say. I will keep the heat out. You will never feel those flames. I have a way to fight them until they die out.
May I ask you how, Your Highness?
Are you so stupid that I must draw a blueprint of my plan of defense? Oh, very well then, if I must give you every detail. Into those turbine thermostats I will put this chemical powder, made from a secret formula of my own invention. When we are all inside, I shall turn on the turbine thermostats and block the tunnel entrance with a wall of solid ice.
While the battle rages, let us go back to the palace of Azura. There we find Dale and Khan and the spy, Mar. Try him again, Mar. Calling Prince Zarkov. Captain Mar, calling Prince Zarkov.
Khan, Mar, look out! The guard!
Disconnect, Mar. Here comes the guard. What should we do? Throw yourself across the spaceport so your cloak hides it. That's it. Play up to whatever I say.
What's going on here?
The traveler felt faint. I brought him over to this grille window for some air. It isn't everyone who can stand this intense heat, Sarge. They all can't be as strong as we are.
Weaklings. But I thought I heard an odd sound and a voice calling out.
You did?
Oh, Khan.
What was the meaning of it?
In this man's country, they worship a different god from yours or mine.
Well?
In his hour of distress, the traveler was summoning the highest aid he could call upon.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't? But that buzzing noise, what caused that?
The buzzing noise?
Yes, the buzzing noise.
Oh, that?
Yes, that.
I didn't think you'd heard that over where you were.
I can well believe that.
Oh, Dale, take the guard over there and turn him with his back to me. I'll make the noise again, and I'll show him what made it. I'll wager he'll be surprised.
Yes, Khan. Yes, of course. Come over here, guard.
No tricks now, or you'll taste my electric whip.
Smart, turn on the space phone. Stop when I tell you. Then when I nudge you, turn it on again.
Very well, Khan.
Now. Well, guard, was that what you heard?
Yes, what caused it?
Well, look. In assisting the traveler, my manacle touched the stove. Like this.
By the God! Watch out from now on, slave. You may accidentally get electrocuted. Before we can do it ourselves.
Oh, that was quick thinking, Captain Khan.
Oh, Khan, you are wonderful to get out of that situation. I thought you took an awful risk in admitting the guard heard the noise.
To have denied it would have been foolhardy. If you're going to deceive someone, stay as closely to the truth as you can.
Thanks, I'll remember that.
But there's one situation I can't handle so easily. The one we're in. This space phone isn't going to work. How are we going to get word to Zarkov?
I've got that all taken care of, Captain Khan.
You have?
Well, how will you do it?
I myself shall take the information to him.
Oh, my.
You'll never get to Zarkov alive. They won't let you out.
Oh, yes, they will. Who let me in here?
Tal, the chief magician.
Well?
You mean Tal will let you out? But Tal's not here. He's away with the army.
He is? Then that makes things all the easier.
Careful, Mar. These men are devils. They have powers and methods never seen before.
Do not fear, Princess. Tal was the only one I spoke to about getting in here. I saw to it that we had a private conference.
So?
So nobody will doubt my word when I say that I was to join Tal after I'd rested.
It may work. It may.
It may. Oh, it will. It must.
Mar.
Yes, Princess.
See that no harm comes to Flash. If Zarkov should capture him, he may not understand why Flash acts as he does.
I understand, Princess. I shall explain everything to Zarkov.
And if you should be captured by the Blue Magic Men, find out what hold the Witch Queen has over Flash and try to break the spell.
If that is to be my fate, Princess, you may rest assured I will carry out your mission.
When are you planning on leaving, Mark?
Well, if I try to leave now, it might be difficult. Yes. I shall wait and take my departure tonight.
our friends for the moment, let us return to the tunnel where Prince Zarkov and his Hawkmen have withdrawn to escape the terrific heat of the combustion ray machine. As the Hawkmen fled into the tunnel, Flash and his officers pursue them, only to be brought up short at the entrance by a wall of solid ice, which Zarkov had miraculously formed with his secret chemical formula. While Flash and his companions reconnoiter outside the entrance to the tunnel, Tal and Azura remain behind the lines.
Of course, if Your Majesty knows best, but is my advice for us?
I am not asking your advice, Tal.
Oh, well, that I am well aware, Your Majesty. But must I take the liberties of an old and faithful retainer? Mighty Queen, do not let your personal feelings entrap you.
My personal feelings? What do you mean?
Your Majesty has taken a fancy to this young unknown.
Oh,
I mean no offense, Your Majesty. As a consort and companion, the youth is without criticism. But is he the best thing for our fair land?
Will he make a good king?
If Your Majesty thinks of him in terms of king, I mean, will he make a good king?
I am very sure he will make a good king, Tal.
Your Majesty was also sure of Locke and Gome.
Those two.
How can you be sure of one who is not even sure of himself?
Flash has protected his love for me day after day. Why, even when the attack began, you heard him say he was repelling it, not to show his bravery or his strength, but to prove his devotion to me.
I was not speaking of his personal assurances, Your Majesty.
Well, of what then?
Of his ability to handle the legions at his disposal. When the attack began, did he not confess himself to be in a quandary as to which battery he should train on them?
A careful general always surveys his position.
But he makes up his own mind. Your new commander-in-chief relied on your advice, Your Majesty.
And wasn't it good advice?
Oh, there is no better judgment in our fair land, Your Majesty.
Then what is your point, Tal? What is it you are trying to say?
Why have a figurehead in charge of our legions?
Figurehead?
You can't have a commander who can handle situations as they arise. Why don't you take charge yourself?
I see it now. You want me to demote Flash and appoint you in his place.
If Your Majesty feels that perhaps an older and more experienced man, and especially one of our own people, could serve better, why, I should be delighted to accept the honor, Your Majesty.
There is some reason for this diplomatic move on your part. What is it? Are the men rebellious because I appointed Flash instead of one of their own number?
I am no bearer of gossip, Your Majesty. What others may think is their own business. If they wish to let you know their feelings, they have ways and means to do it. I speak only in your own interest and with the liberty of your major domo.
I do not doubt your word, Tal, but I think you speak one word for me and two for yourself. Do you honestly think Flash is incapable of making decisions for himself?
I do, Your Majesty, I do. You have a chance to witness that for yourself. Our enemy has taken refuge in a tunnel and blockaded themselves with a wall of ice. Your commander has gone to look over the situation.
When you would have
charged with full forces and gone in after the enemy.
I see.
Your Majesty, I am not trying to go behind your commander's back unfairly, no. I have given you my plan of action. Here he comes now. Hear what he has to say and choose for yourself which ought to be at the head of the Blue Magic Army.
Well, my prince, what have you to report?
My beautiful queen, we found the enemy barricaded behind a wall of solid ice. There is only one thing we can do.
And that is?
Charge with full forces and go in after the enemy.
You hear, Tal? You hear what Flash proposes?
Yes, I hear, Your Majesty.
Come, Azora. Together we shall lead the charge. All men, to the attack! Follow me! See these amazing characters in full-color pictures next Sunday in the Comic Weekly, which is an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Here is some news for you. Next Sunday, the famous full-page Comic Weekly will replace the tabloid. with better and larger pictures and more easily read captions. What a treat is in store for you next Sunday with Skippy bringing up Father, the Little King, Barney Google, and all those other funny fellows just twice as large. You have enjoyed them in the tabloid size. How much better you will like them in the full-page Comic Weekly. Be sure to get the new full-page Comic Weekly with your Hearst Sunday newspaper next Sunday and enjoy a half hour's good, clean fun with the foremost merrymakers in the world of pictures. And don't forget our date next week at this same time for another thrilling chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon.
Upset with today's headlines? Worried about the high cost of living? Want to get away from it all?
CBS offers you Escape.
You are the friend of a man living in death, confidant of a ghoul, witness to a nameless terror. You are a guest in the House of Usher.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to a gloom-shrouded moor and a house where dread holds sway, as Edgar Allan Poe recounts it in his famous story, The Fall of the House of Usher.
It is with some regret, but I believe advisable that I identify myself only as a friend of Roderick Usher. Certainly the last and perhaps the only friend of that unhappy man. Having only one sister, he was the last male descendant of the ancient house of Usher. Roderick had been one of my boon companions in boyhood, but many years had elapsed now since our last meeting. And so as I held his letter in my hand, not yet opening it, I reflected with no little sadness upon the devious fates that chart our courses and drive old friends away from one another. But then a sudden feverish and nostalgic curiosity laid hold of me, and with fingers made clumsy by their eagerness, I tore open the letter and read,
My dear friend, my need of you has so far outgrown my pride that I'm going to request a favor which I realize full well may involve considerable inconvenience to yourself. For some time past, I have been suffering from an acute bodily illness intensified by serious mental oppression, if I may so call it. A horror which looms over me, a horror grown so great I dare no longer face it alone. And so, in all humility, and for the sake of years gone by, I beseech you to come to me at once, here to the family estate in the north. Should events conspire to prevent your coming, then only God may know the consequences. Your friend in desperation, Roderick Usher.
And so it happened that at the end of a dull, dark, and soundless day in the middle of October, I found myself as the shades of evening drew on, within view of the grim and melancholy house of Usher. I confess that the first sight of the house, the fungus-covered walls of stone thrusting their crumbling ramparts against the darkening sky, rising out of the sullen, sluggish waters of the black tarn at their base, the bleak and vacant windows staring blindly, the bone-white trunks of decaying trees, these things filled me with a nameless and desolate terror, so that I reined in my horse and sat trembling, half fearing to cross the wooden bridge that led over the waters of the moat and up to the entrance of the house of Usher. Then impatiently I shook off this strange feeling of dread, and was an instant later clattering over the wooden bridge and onto the courtyard. I dismounted quickly, tossed my reins to the silent lackey who approached, strode across the gravel and up to the massive wooden portal, the door of the house of Usher. Good afternoon. My name is...
I know. You're the friend of Master Roderick. Please come inside, sir.
Thank you. But may I inquire how it happens you know me?
You have been expected for some time, sir.
Yes, true. But also I'm a stranger to you and could be some other visitor.
That you could be anyone other than the friend whom Master Roderick expects, sir, would be impossible. You see, no one else would ever come to this house.
Then I followed his stealthy footsteps through many dark and intricate passages. My earlier foreboding heightened and was made fearful by the somber aspect of the hallways by which we passed. The many unused rooms reaching out with their vast emptiness like some hideous jungle creeper. But at length we stood before the door of the master's studio, and there the servant left me, departed and left me to go in alone. The man across the room, half reclining on the couch, his back turned toward me, did not hear the opening of the door. For the space of several heartbeats, I saw only the deathly pale and ghastly sunken features of a stranger. Then only with difficulty could I recognize, behind that mask, my boyhood friend. For surely, under light of heaven, no man had ever before so terribly altered in so brief a time as had Roderick Usher.
Oh, my friend, you've come at last. Thank God you did come.
Oh, Roderick, did you not know I would? Could you not be sure that no long years would ever dim the friendship we shared in youth?
So many things have dimmed. Ah, youth. It seems so long ago. But now you're here, and we'll find it, relive it all over again, every glorious moment of it. And all these shadows, all these gibbering phantoms that haunt me, they'll be driven out. And then the sun will shine again, and we'll be young again and relive...
Roderick!
Oh, but forgive me, my friend. My excessive joy at the sight of you after so many years drives me into a frenzy of talk. How many years has it... Oh, no matter. It is enough that you are here, and brought with you all the lost, all the happy days of my boyhood.
But I'd expected from your letter to find you in serious straits indeed. Instead, you seem in the best of spirits.
You have the right to know. But in all frankness, here in your presence, I find it difficult to credit importance to those things which only yesterday filled me with terror. True, I've been ill. A nervous affliction, something in the nature of a family weakness, probably. It has affected me with a morbid acuteness of the senses, such that quite often the least sounds and odors and colors become irritating beyond endurance. I've eaten but little, as you can see.
But surely you've retained the services of a physician.
A physician? Oh, yes, of course. He calls almost daily, though it is more often Madeline that he attends. You remember my twin sister, Madeline? For her, I fear more greatly than for myself. Even today, she's taken to her bed, and I have no doubt will never rise from it again.
Oh, a tragedy. The sympathies of my heart go out to you.
Oh, but leave it for the present. Leave it to dream of all those happy days we left so far behind. Everything will be different now that you're here. Do you remember when we were 12?
But the happy forgetfulness which Roderick found in my coming was short-lived, and in a few days he had sunk into a morose torpor, from which only occasionally with frantic difficulty could he reach the joy of our first few hours of meeting. More often his mental apathy was broken by bursts of vicious temper and violent ill humor. Fits I could only excuse on the basis of his illness. And that illness began in my mind to assume a most mysterious character. Being unable to divine its true nature from Roderick's hesitant offerings, I took the liberty of questioning the physician a few days later when I chanced to encounter him in a hallway.
Yes, she's resting as well as might be expected.
But she continues to decline. Is that not correct, Doctor?
That would seem to be the case.
And the malady, the illness which has stricken her, is it the same as that which affects her brother Roderick?
I may venture that it is.
Might I inquire the nature of this illness?
As to that, I am unable to say.
You imply, then, that I have no right to the information?
Not at all. I am confessing to you quite simply, sir. I do not know what afflicts Madeline and Roderick Usher.
And so a week passed. A week in which the sullen, leaden skies darkened into deeper oppressiveness, in which Roderick's deathly pallor and creeping mental dissolution grew more apparent. A week in which the monstrous atmosphere of this ancient mausoleum began to crawl insidiously within my own consciousness, stirring into life a formless, unknown dread. Then one evening, we were sitting in the vaulted studio, while the first shadows of night began to flow together into pools of darkness. Roderick had been unusually troubled during the day, and had been trying to find some solace by playing on the violin. Of a sudden, there came a knock upon the door.
Stop it! Stop that infernal pounding, do you hear? Do you wish to drive me completely mad? Open the door and come in, come in!
It's the doctor.
Well, what is it? What do you want?
Master Usher, I regret that I must say this, but it is my sad duty to inform you that your sister Madeline is no longer living.
Madeline? My sister? Then she's dead?
She breathes no more.
Dead? And perhaps, my dear doctor, you can tell me what caused her death.
Unfortunately, I can only take refuge in the term heart failure.
Heart failure? Yes. Of course. Very well, Doctor. If you'll be kind enough to wait, I'll come down directly and discuss the arrangement.
At your service. I bid you good afternoon, gentlemen.
Roderick, I assure you of my deepest sympathy.
You do? your deepest sympathy. The doctor regrets his sad duty. Are you fools, both of you fools?
I don't understand.
Haven't you seen it yet? Can you not feel it about you? The horrid, monstrous, brooding spirit of this accursed house. Can't you hear its evil laughter as it lurks in the hallways and grows fat upon the soul? My dead sister.
Roderick.
Can't you see that it matters nothing to me that she's dead? That I myself walk but a few steps behind her into the same shadows of hell? Can't you sense those hideous tentacles even now reaching out for me? For me, who now the last living, if it be living, the last living descendant of the accursed house of Usher.
Such was the passing of Madeline Usher, once living, now dead. And her very death, untimely in its aspects, bore to my trembling soul a portent of events yet more hideous, more horrible, and yet to come. At a later hour of that same sad night, Roderick came into my chamber to voice an intention so morbidly unnatural that for the moment I could only feel that his tottering reason had at last failed him entirely.
Then you refuse?
But, Roderick, this is madness.
I tell you, before this night is over, the coffin body of my sister shall rest in the vault beneath this house, and if you will not help me, I shall do it myself.
But why? Why?
I could not stand to think of her buried out there in the dark graveyard, alone among the dead.
Roderick, she too is dead.
It's fantastic how little we know of death or of life. The doctor says she no longer breathes.
She is dead.
She was so lovely, was my sister.
Roderick.
I must keep Madeline near me.
Nothing but evil would come of such an act.
I can trust no one. But you, not even physician himself. He hates us because he can't discover what it is that kills us. Even he might steal the body of my beloved sister, and he might learn our secret. You understand, don't you, my friend?
Yes, Roderick. Yes, I understand. And so it came about. Near midnight, we two alone made our way to an upper chamber of the house. And taking up the black coffin between us, in the shuddering light of candles, we walked the tortuous passageways, slowly descended the curving stairs of stone, passed beneath the moldy level of the earth, forced open a massive and age-rusted door of iron, and stood at last, with our ghastly burden, in a subterranean, dank and musty crypt, underneath the house of Usher.
Over here, my friend, on these trestles. Now, a trifle higher with the head. There. Oh, may you sleep in peace and dream, sweet sister, from I who tread the same path soft behind you.
Come, Roderick. The thing is done.
Oh, wait. Stay a moment. We've not yet affixed the coffin lid. See? I've left it loose so it can be turned back.
No, I beg you.
A last farewell, no more. Look. Is she not beautiful?
Yes, she was very beautiful.
Was? Yes, of course. The look of her confused me. But Do you not see it, too? The warm glow of the cheeks, the eyes shut softly, those lips half parted. Does it not seem that she may rise up and speak to us at any moment?
This gruesome place inspires us morbid fancies.
Morbid fancies? But now dead she seems to live, and living seems already dead.
Man, you seek out madness. You court it with your very thoughts.
And if I do, what matters? What value can there be in reason without the hope of life? Dead, you say to me, she is dead. But what certainty? Why not with equal reason say instead she lives? And that I, the last of Usher, am the one who is already dead.
I prevailed upon my friend at last to leave that mournful place. And so with grim finality we secured the ebon lid, took up our flickering candles, and departed from the crypt, leaving it alone with its darkness and death. The ponderous portal closed behind us, and then my soul for one brief instant felt the dread and awful meaning of eternity. There followed then a week of such dreary gloom and melancholy that my own spirit quavered at the menace of the nameless thing enshadowed in that house. By perceptible degrees, the living soul of Roderick Usher flickered lower. More ghastly grew his pallor, more tremulous the extremity of his terror. The 8th day following the death of Lady Madeline fell upon the last day of grim and gray October, and brought with it, as the curtains of night descended, the fitful breath of a rising tempest, uneasy gusts of sodden rain, and the sound of sullen thunderous rumbles born of the dim flares of sheet lightning somewhere behind the lowering pall. I retired at a late hour, but found sleep impossible. At length, overpowered by some strange presentiment of evil, I found my reposeful inaction no longer endurable. And so I arose, threw on my clothes in haste, and fell to pacing the floor of my darkened chamber. Then in one instant, a soft sound in the blackness froze my steps in paralysis of terror. The latch of my chamber door was being lifted from without. Who is it? Who is it, I say?
It is I, Roderick.
Oh, Roderick. What are you doing up and about at this hour, in pitch blackness? Wait, let me light the candles.
No, I am quite used to darkness. I heard your footsteps and knew that you must be awake, even as I was. Can it be that you've not seen it?
I don't understand you. I've seen nothing.
Then stay. You shall see it, even as I've seen it for these past 2 hours. Wait. I'll throw open the casement window. There.
It was indeed a tempestuous yet sternly beautiful night, and one wildly singular in its terror and in its beauty. The exceeding density of the clouds which hung so low as to press upon the turrets of the house did not prevent our perceiving the velocity with which they flew careening from all points against one another. We had no glimpse of the moon or stars, but terrible to behold, the under surfaces of the huge cloud masses, as well as all terrestrial objects immediately around us, were glowing in the unnatural light of a faintly luminous and clearly visible phosphorescence, which hung like a shroud about the mansion itself.
You see, my friend, tonight the thing grows bolder. Gather strength from the storm and from the dead soul it's eaten.
No, Roderick, you must not look at this. Here, I shall close this window and pull these curtains. And now, candlelight. Such darkness is the very mother of evil fear. There. Now, come, sit here. Suppose I read aloud from some book or another.
As you wish.
I presume it matters little which. Oh, here. There is a volume of The Mad Tryst by Canning. Will it serve?
As you said, it matters little.
I've always found the scene to be quite entertaining, wherein Ethelred dreams of fighting a dragon. Now, let's see. Oh, yes. Here it is. And so Ethelred waited no longer to hold parley with the hermit who mocked him from inside the hut, but feeling the rain upon his back and fearing the rising of the tempest, uplifted his axe and quickly made a hole in the plankings of the door for his gauntleted hand. And now, pulling sturdily, he so cracked and ripped all asunder that the noise of the dry and hollow-sounding wood alarmed and reverberated throughout the forest.
Why do you stop?
Why, that's strange. I fancied I just heard the very sound I read about.
Let us say it was caused by the storm. Pray continue.
Oh, yes, the storm. Of course. But Ethelred, upon entering the door, was amazed to perceive no sign of the evil hermit, but instead a dragon of prodigious and scaly demeanor, which sat on guard before a shield of shining brass. And Ethelred uplifted his axe and struck the head of the dragon, which fell before him with a shriek so horrid and harsh, like whereof was never before. What sound is that?
Sound? The shriek of a dragon, my friend. Read on.
Very well. And now the champion, bethinking himself of the shield of brass, approached across the silver floor to where the shield hung upon the wall. But the shield, not waiting for his coming, loosed and fell upon the silver floor with a mighty great... Roderick, I tell you something moves within this house. That sound, it reverberated through the very walls. Can you tell me now you did not hear it?
Hear it now? Oh, yes, I hear it and have heard it. Long moments, hours, many days have I heard it. Yet I dared not speak. But why? Do you not know we put her living in the tomb? I tell you now, I heard her first feeble movements in the coffin many, many days ago, and I felt then it mattered little. But now she comes to upbraid me for my haste. And that last dread sound, yes, I heard it, the opening of a metal door to the crypt beneath the house. Now she comes here. Have I not heard her footsteps on the stair? Do I not distinguish the heavy and horrible beating of her heart? Madman that I am, I tell you that she now stands without that door. But even now she opens it.
There in the flickering light of candles, in the gloom and curtained doorway, stood the shrouded body of Lady Madeline. For one shuddering instant she swayed there. Then as Roderick uttered a single piteous cry, she fell upon him in violent and now final death agonies, and bore him to the floor, a corpse. From that chamber and from that mansion, I fled aghast out the massive portal over the causeway into the night. Suddenly there shot along the path a wild light, and I looked back in heightened terror, for the vast house and its shadows were alone behind me. The baleful gleam came from the setting full and blood-red moon, which now shone vividly through a widening crack in the walls of the house itself, and even as I gazed, its vision opened rapidly. There came a fierce breath of the tempest. The entire lunar orb burst at once upon my sight. My brain reeled as I saw the mighty walls rushing asunder. There came a long, tumultuous, shouting sound like the voice of 1,000 waters. And the dark, deep tarn at my feet, close sullenly and silently forever over the pitiful ruins of the ancient house of Usher.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with Paul Frees as the narrator, Ramsey Hill as Roderick Usher, and Sheridan Hall as the physician. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Fuhrer. Next week...
You are the victim of a poorer man, pursued from the west coast of Africa to the west end of London by a dead man's head, which grins at you upside down.
Next week, Escape, with H.G. Wells' gripping story, Pollock and the Poorer Man. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. And now a message from the famous fellow who won the contest for the typical American boy, Popsicle Pete.
Say, kids, seems like everybody's saving bags from Popsicle, Creamsicle, and Fudgicle and getting the dandiest free gifts. Get a free gift list in your ice cream store. It's full of colored pictures of the presents.
Everybody loves Popsicle, Creamsicle, and Fudgicle on the handy stick. Are they good? So pure, so delicious, so downright refreshing.
Gee, you're making my mouth water.
Now they're full of energy, too. And a great big one costs only 5 cents.
The biggest nickel's worth I ever saw.
And remember, everything that goes into these great big luscious confections is the freshest and the finest. The kind of ingredients Mother uses in her own kitchen. Eat Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle as often as you like. They help make you strong, but be sure you get the genuine. Look for the name Popsicle, Creamsicle, or Fudgicle printed on every bag.
Save bags for free gifts every day. Save your gift list, too. It's got a coupon on it worth 10 bags.
Well, now with Kane and Ardela established in the headquarters at the ruins of ancient Philadelphia, with Black Barney under the influence of the psychic restriction ray, things promise to be pretty exciting. But let's first pick up Buck and Wilma aboard their rocket plane as it roars along on its way to Dr. Huer's laboratory in Niagara. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
Doggone it, Wilma, I certainly wish I knew why Dr. Huer insisted we turn around and fly back to his laboratory this way.
I know it, Buck. And just when we were beginning to get somewhere in our hunt for Black Barney.
Right. That was a good, strong rocket trail we were following, too. And there was no question about it being his.
Unless Killer Kane took that ship away from him.
Wilma, that's a greater possibility than I care to admit. Yes, sir, you'll never convince me that Barney had run off with an experimental ship that way unless somebody forced him into it.
And who could it be but Killer Kane?
Right. And that's why I hated to leave the hot rocket trail we were following.
Dr. Huer knew we were on that trail, didn't he?
Sure. I had Central Radio Bureau tell him we were.
Then he must have something mighty important up his sleeve to make a turn back this way.
Yeah. Well, we'll be at his laboratory in a couple of minutes now and find out what it's all about.
Buck.
Yeah?
Why not radio to him? Plenty of time to do it before we land.
Sure. Here, you take over the controls while I do it, will you, please?
Surely.
Only you'd better keep cutting down on the power or we'll fly on by Niagara before we know it.
Hey, I should say so. Do you know how fast we're traveling?
How fast?
A little over 1,200 miles an hour.
Phew. That is stepping along, isn't it?
You bet it is. Out in space, with no air friction to heat up the hull or slow us down, it would be like crawling along. Down here, within the atmosphere, it's going some.
Yeah. Well, you take care of navigation while I make this call.
Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is cut down the power. There.
Calling V121. Buck Rogers calling V121.
Of course, he may not have got back to his laboratory yet, Buck. Central Radio Bureau said he had just started when we talked to them.
Well, calling V121.
Hello, Buck. Did you get my message through Central Radio?
Why, yes, Doctor. And we're on our way into you now.
Good. Well, then why are you calling?
Oh, just to find out what this is all about. We were hot on Barney's rocket trail.
Yes,
and,
yes, I know, Buck.
Well, yes, sir, and that trail was so fresh the gas analyzer pointers were fairly popping off the dials.
But, Buck, I have an idea that finding Barney is going to be far more difficult than simply following up his rocket trail.
Sure, Doctor, but it's the first thing for us to do in any case.
No. So the first thing for you to do is come back here to my laboratory.
But why, sir?
Tell you when you get back here. Now, come along.
Okay. We'll be there in a minute.
Signing off.
Signing off.
In a minute is right. Want to take over the controls?
Yeah, thanks. We can start coasting to a landing in about 2 shakes.
Well, take it easy. This ship isn't equipped with the gyrocosmic relativator, you know.
I wish it was. Poor old Barney and Willie thought they were doing us a favor when they took off in the ship that was equipped with one. And right now it'd be mighty handy to have it aboard here.
Well, here we are.
Yep. Hang on for landing. Now, let's go.
Right with you. Oh, hello, Doctor. Here we are.
Oh, come right in here, you two.
Right, sir.
Your radio call held me up a bit, but I'm finished with this thing in a minute.
Why, Doctor, it's the gyrocosmic relativator. Don't tell me Black Barney and Willie came back here.
Yes, Doctor. When did they bring it back?
They didn't. This is a brand new one.
Oh, I thought it'd take weeks to put one of these things together, and that you'd need impenetrite from Pluto.
Well, I used a few scraps I was able to salvage in the main power room of the Central Radio Bureau.
Yeah?
I've been spending every minute working on this.
Well, I'm beginning to see the light. You had us come back here so we could install this on our ship before continuing the search for Barney and Willie.
Exactly. As long as his ship is so equipped, yours must be too. And Buck.
Yeah?
I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm of the opinion that Kane and Ardela must have something to do with the disappearance of Barney and Willie.
We certainly agree with you on that.
Yes. There, now.
Great day. You must have done some fast work on this thing.
Yes. And under a real handicap in the limited amount of impenetrite at my disposal.
What about the reports of impenetrite ore out near the city of Omaha?
Yeah, I've heard about that too, Doctor.
Yes, but the ore is so poor that an entirely new means of reduction must be developed to really make it worthwhile.
Worth investigating, though.
Well, I'm going to look into it at the very first opportunity. Meanwhile, our only sure source is the far-off planet Pluto.
We can't very well afford to lose this relevator, then, can we?
No, sir.
But is there anything I can do to help you there?
I'll fit the photoelectric cell unit into place, will you, please?
Yeah, sure. Goes right in front of this gear system unit, doesn't it?
That's right. You'll have to use the power vice to fit them together.
Okay. But how about fastening them?
Oh, molecular tension will take care of that because of the extreme care with which they've been machined. Go right ahead and put them into the vice.
Yes, sir.
Help you carry, Buck?
No, thanks. I can make it.
There we are. Be sure the sections are accurately lined up before you try to fit them.
Yeah, they're in perfect alignment. And here goes the vice that'll make the gyrocosmic relativator that'll help run down Kane and Ardela.
Well, Barney, how do you feel now? Psychic restriction ray isn't so bad, is it?
It's marvelous, Chief. Just leave it on for a couple of hours or two more, will you?
Sounds to me as though he's had plenty, Kay.
Right, Ardela. You can turn it off.
All right.
All right. Get up now, Barney.
Yeah. Thanks, Chief. I certainly appreciate your letting me get exposed to it. Yeah.
Then perhaps you can be of some help to us now, eh?
Oh, I'll try awful hard, Chief.
That's the stuff. What we ought to do, Ardela, is get hold of Rogers and put him under the psychic restriction ray.
Not a bad idea.
Dumb as he is, I think he might really be of some use to us. Well, from now on, we've got to take it easy and carefully plan everything we're going to do. Now, Barney.
Huh? Yeah, Chief.
Go out to where we've buried the rocket ship that has the gyrocosmic relativator on it.
Okay.
Take along a non-recoil energy projector so you can push the dirt and rocks away from the door of it and get aboard.
And then what?
Then take out the radio and bring it in here. But be sure you leave the path to the door of that rocket ship clear.
How come?
I want that ship to be ready for immediate takeoff, just as soon as it gets dark.
Okay, Chief, I'll do it right away. How about bringing the ship up out of its hole onto the level ground?
Not much. That would leave it in plain sight of anybody who might be flying around looking for us.
Oh, yes.
Having that natural waterfall out there to cover up the entrance to this headquarters is a real help.
Yes, and right here in this old laboratory of Professor Smith's, we have all the scientific apparatus we could possibly want, Adela. Our setup is perfect.
Well, what are we going to do with it?
Before anything else, Adela, we must send Barney out after supplies and equipment.
Whoa there, Kane. Wouldn't it be much safer for you to go?
Not by a long shot. The minute anyone in this country saw me on the loose, every radio in America would start buzzing. But Barney's all right. People are used to seeing him around, and no matter what he might be doing, nobody would try to interfere with him.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Of course I am. The only thing he'll have to do is stay clear of Niagara, where they know he's missing.
Yeah, so far as that's concerned, though, they probably know he's disappeared in every city of the country.
Adela, you seem to forget that our friend Barney is Prime Minister of Mars in his spare time. They wouldn't dare broadcast news of his disappearance in this day and age.
Okay. What are you going to have him do?
Go into a bunch of small towns and pick up all the weapons he can find. And bring us a good, fast space cruiser.
What would he do with the ship we have now?
Bring it along, too. It's equipped with magnetic grapples, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then all he needs to do is pick out a likely-looking battle cruiser, clamp onto it with the grapples, and bring it back here.
How about the chances of his rocket trail being picked up?
No chance. That ship carries a rocket dampener, which I hooked in. It'll leave such a faint trail that the wind will blow it away within a few minutes. Isn't as though he were flying out in space, you know, where there's no wind and a rocket trail stays put.
Okay, but don't you think this business of taking a lot of weapons from small towns is dangerous? Suppose somebody sees him taking them and gets suspicious.
Then all he needs to do is doff his flying helmet, look official, and pass some remark about being hot on the trail of Killer Kane and Adela.
And what about the chances of Barney's trying to double-cross us?
Don't worry. The psychic restriction ray has taken care of that. Well, here he is now.
And look at him. What happened to you, Barney?
I'm all right, Miss Adela. Only I got kind of wet coming through the falls.
Oh! Why didn't you use a force ray to push the water aside?
Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! Transcribed high adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. Buzz and Happy are in the lower shaft of a secret mine on Saturn's sixth moon. As they wade through the water of the partly flooded shaft, a strange sound filters down through the mine.
Happy, listen. Sounds like a motor of some kind. The mine's automatic pump. When the water reaches a certain level, it cuts on and draws off the water. But, Commander, look at the water level against the wall of the shaft. It's rising. You're right, Happy. That pipe isn't drawing water out, it's forcing it in. Someone reversed the pump. They're trying to drown us.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Last Voyage of the Lonesome Lena. Presenting the story of a young boy who didn't like any of the cereals his mom brought home. First he'd say,
I can't eat that stuff, Mom.
Sometimes he'd say,
Oh, gee, no flavor.
And then again,
Don't like it, Mom. I just don't like it.
So she tried cereals in white packages, yellow packages, blue packages. But no luck.
No flavor.
Then one day she brought home a pair of cereals in red and white checkerboard packages.
Wowee, that's good. Oh, boy.
That's what he said when he tasted one of them.
Jumping Jupiter. Great day in the morning. This is it.
That's what he said when he tasted the other. The cereals?
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, gang. Man, oh, man. They're my cereals.
Buzz Corey cereals, too. The bite-sized super cereals that help to supercharge you.
Best tasting cereals in the universe.
And the only official ready-to-eat cereals of the Space Patrol.
Fill her up, Mom. Rice Chex.
That's what our friend says now.
Fill her up, Mom. Wheat Chex.
So, gang, if you want a cereal that's right on the beam for flavor, get the cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages. Rice Chex. Wheat Chex. Saturn's number 6 moon, Titan, has become increasingly important to the commerce of the outer planets. However, rumors of illegal activity on Titan have caused Commander Corey to send Tonga, his assistant security chief, to the Saturn satellite to investigate. Now, Buzz and Happy aboard Space Patrol battlecruiser Terra 5, headed for Titan, are talking to Tonga by spaceophone, as she reports from the satellite's chief settlement, Titan Center.
So you find that the chief black market items are processed foods and medical supplies, huh?
That's right, Commander.
What about those reports we received in the uranium mine? Was there anything to the sabotage rumors?
Well, there was no actual sabotage, but about 2 weeks ago, a couple of men did try to get inside the guarded area.
Were they captured?
No, they got away. But there haven't been any recent incidents.
Have you found out who's behind this black market food situation?
No, but there's a lot of talk about a Captain Kruger.
Captain Gustav Kruger?
Yes, he's the one. He's quite a legend in this part of the solar system.
I think I've heard of him, Commander. Isn't he that old-time space pilot who has the broken-down cargo ship?
Yes, Happy. Lonesome Lena, he calls it. He's been shuttling back and forth between Saturn's moons for years. I've never heard of him being mixed up in anything dishonest. Who gave you this information?
A man named Sherwin McCurdy, for one. He's behind a lot of this new development in Titan. Kruger has given McCurdy some trouble, but I don't think McCurdy takes the old gentleman too seriously.
Have you met Kruger?
No, not yet. He just got back from Saturn. He's at Titan Center spaceport repairing his ship.
We'll have a talk with him when we land. Meet us at the spaceport and we'll go over together.
Yes, sir.
Corey out. Well, stand by for landing, Happy.
Standing by, sir.
Kill rockets.
Rockets out.
Hit repel array.
Repel array on, sir.
Now, let's button up the ship, and then we'll have a chat with Captain Kruger.
So that's the Lonesome Lena. Boy, that ship must be 100 years old.
Well, not quite, Happy, but it has seen a lot of service.
It's so patched up. And look how it's pitted with meteor hits.
Only a real space pilot could keep it in operation.
Is that Kruger coming down the ladder?
Yes. Captain Kruger! Oh, Captain Kruger!
He looked right at us and then turned away.
Oh, I told you he was independent. Let's get over there. He's checking the hatch. Well, how's the ship, Captain?
Good for another 50 billion GUs.
With you handling it anyway. Remember me, Commander Corey?
Yeah, I recognized you.
This is my cadet, Happy.
Very glad to know you, Captain.
Have some calcium seeds, cadet?
Some what?
Calcium seeds. Great unraveled orbits, Commander. Don't tell me this new crop of space cadets doesn't know what calcium seeds are.
Never heard of them, Captain.
Your education sure has been neglected.
They grow on Venus, Happy. They used to be very popular on space flights.
Yeah, you never get space sickness if you chew calcium seeds. Not only that, but they keep you from blacking out at high acceleration.
Oh.
And out in space, you'd never mind the absence of gravity as long as you chew calcium seeds.
As you can see, Happy, Captain Kruger is a pilot of the old school. He's the only pilot I know who still chews raw calcium seeds.
Yeah. People nowadays won't touch them. Just because they stain your hands purple when you crack them. Well, Commander, you didn't come over here for a lecture on calcium seeds. What's on your mind?
Oh, just a few questions about business.
I see. I suppose you've heard rumors that I'm hijacking food and selling it on the black market. Is that it?
There are a lot of rumors in Titan these days, Captain.
Yeah. And a lot of upstarts. They come in here with shiny new ships and big ideas. They act like I don't belong. I'm getting shoved around, Commander. But I'm not going to take it. I never have. I'm not going to now. Well, now, if you'll excuse me, I got some repairs to make. Lonesome Lena's in pretty bad shape.
All right, Captain. Come on, Happy. Let's find Tonga.
You can tell them for me that if Sherwin McCurdy promised delivery, they'll get it. We're a little short of spaceships here on Titan right now. Hey, look, stall them off. Promise them anything. I'll call you back later. Come in.
McCurdy, I want to work with you.
Well, Captain Kruger, glad to see you.
Put your hand back in your pocket, McCurdy.
Well, what's the matter, Captain? You seem angry.
Why wouldn't I be? For 10 years, I've been setting the old Lonesome Lena down on Titan any place I wanted, or on any moon in the Saturn system. Folks were mighty glad to see me whenever I rocketed in, until your crowd got here.
My crowd, Captain?
One of your hired flunkies just told me I can't set down on the Titan Center spaceport anymore. Oh, what kind of high-handed nonsense is that?
It isn't nonsense, Captain. You can't put the Lonesome Lena down on this port. Well, that old bucket of bolts you call the Lonesome Lena's a menace. If I had my way, I'd report you to the Space Patrol. They'd melt up that old hulk.
Oh, you would. You'd melt up a ship that has helped keep people alive for the last 40 years out here on these moons.
Ship's out of date. It served its purpose. Now it's finished.
Who are you to decide whether the Lonesome Lena's finished? Well, one patch on that old battered hull is worth 10,000 of you. Melt her up, would you? I warn you, McCurdy, if you ever say that again, I'll slap you.
Take your hands off me. Take your...
All right, Captain, that's enough.
Commander Corey, this man attacked me. You got here just in time.
What's the trouble here?
I was merely pointing out that his spaceship violates Space Patrol safety regulations.
That's a bald-faced lie, McCurdy. The Lonesome Lena's safe as any ship in the space lane.
Does it have repel array equipment?
Well, no.
Does it have infrared viewscope equipment?
I don't need it. I can land it blindfolded on any spaceport in the solar system.
Does it have Class A radiation shielding on the space drive?
Her shielding's good enough. I ought to know. I built it.
I see, Commander. Obviously, he can't be permitted to land here at Titan Center. Those are regulations.
Commander, I've always respected you. Are you going to side in with this planet lubber?
I'm sorry, Captain Kruger, but I don't make the regulations. My job is to enforce them. There are thousands of people here in Titan Center. Their safety comes first.
They're safer with Lonesome Lena than with half the amateur pilots in these new ships, and you know it.
Captain, if we made an exception in your case, we'd have to do it for everyone. However, we won't be concerned if you have these safety devices installed.
But that takes money, Commander. I haven't got it. I'll never be able to get it if I can't land here to load and unload freight.
Well, perhaps you can work out some arrangements to land outside a 10-mile radius of Titan Center.
10 miles? Might as well be 10 DUs out in space.
I'm sorry, Captain Kruger. There's nothing I can do.
You win, McCurdy. Have some Callium C's. I won't be needing them anymore.
Well, Captain is very dramatic, isn't he?
I don't find it amusing, Mr. McCurdy. That old ship of his means more than his livelihood. It's his life.
Well, Commander, I wouldn't let my sympathies blind me to Captain Kruger's sharp practices.
What do you mean?
Kruger's lived by his wits. He's been a lone wolf. Now he's up against the rules of society, and instead of abiding by the rules, he takes the attitude that everyone's against him. Watch him, Commander. I confess I'm rather afraid of what he might do.
I'm here in Titan to prevent trouble, Mr. McCurdy. That's why I came to see you. I'd like to talk to you about conditions here.
Of course. Sit down.
All right, now I just want to make an appointment. I have a few matters to talk over first with my Assistant Security Chief, Tonga, back at our temporary headquarters.
I see.
How about later today?
That'll be fine, Commander. I'll look forward to it.
So the captain is really sore, huh?
Yeah. In a way, I can't blame him.
Oh, Tonga, did you tell the commander about the uranium mine?
Uranium mine?
Yes, the big one, halfway around Titan. Someone is planning to tap the mine, dig into it from a natural cavern on the other side of the mountain so they can steal the ore, or sabotage the mine.
Who's behind this?
I don't know. But I do know that some mining equipment has been hidden in the cavern. And I know the location. They are being very careful. The crust tunnel is being worked only when the cavern is on the night side of Titan. It's daylight there now.
I think Happy and I ought to take a look at it.
Do you want me to go too, Commander?
No, you stay here in Titan Center. Call Sherwin McCurdy. Tell him I won't be able to keep that appointment. May not be back in time.
There's the mouth of the cavern, sir.
There's been plenty of activity around here, too, by the looks of the ground.
Hey, there's a pipe leading from the cavern.
A drainage pipe. Machinery right inside the cave. Looks like a pump.
A pump?
Apparently they have to keep pumping water out of the shaft inside the cavern. Get your atomo light, Hap. We'll have a look inside. Don't bump your head when you go through this opening, Happy.
I wonder how close we are to the regular mine.
It's hard to tell.
Hey, we're in water over our ankles. Oh, the shaft can't go much farther. We must be halfway into the mountain by now. The water's getting deeper, sir. It's nearly up to my waist.
Listen.
Sounds like a motor of some kind. Must be back outside the cavern.
The automatic pump engine. When the water reaches a certain level, it cuts on and draws off the water.
But, Commander, look at the water level against the wall of the shaft. It looks like it's rising.
You're right, Hap. That pipe isn't drawing water out, it's forcing it in. Someone reversed the pumps. They know we're down here, and they're trying to drown us.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a minute. They call him Whizzer, and there's not another boy in the neighborhood who can play basketball half as well. What's your secret, Whizzer?
No secret. I just get supercharged every morning.
You mean you have a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal?
You bet. Rice Chex, Wheat Chicks, or Instant Ralston. That's how Buzz Corey gets supercharged. That's how I get supercharged.
Say, how about those Chex? They're plenty delicious, right?
I'll say. And they're bite-sized.
And they're the only cereals in the universe that have that modern bite-sized design.
And there's only one cereal in the universe like Instant Ralston. I love it.
That's the hot super cereal. Helps you to think fast, act fast.
And play basketball fast.
You said it. Instant Ralston is a cereal for winners and whizzers. That's what you are, a winner. How about you, gang? Wouldn't you like to be Whizzer? Get supercharged. Eat a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal. Don't wait. Get 'em today. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, good hot Ralston. Buzz and Happy have entered a cavern on Titan, 6th moon of the planet Saturn, to investigate a hidden shaft that they believe leads to a uranium mine. After crawling through a narrow opening far under the ground, they suddenly noticed that the water in the bottom of the shaft seemed to be rising. Then they heard the sound of the pump echoing down from the cavern opening and realized that water was being deliberately pumped into the mine shaft to drown them. With the water up to their chests, they flashed their atomolites around them, searching for a way to escape.
Hey, wait, Hap. Listen.
I don't hear the pump anymore. Maybe it's been shut off.
No. The water's still gushing in from that pipe. We don't hear the pump because the water's over the narrow opening.
Well, then how are we going to get through?
We'll dive under long enough to get to a place where the water doesn't fill the shaft.
All set, Happy? Yes, sir. Dive deep.
We made it.
Yeah. Hey, the water's not even up to my hips.
We're on an upward slope of the shaft. Come on, Happy. Let's get out of this place. I'll shut it off.
Well, there's no sign of a ship around here, sir, except ours.
Whoever did this has certainly finished us off.
I'd sure like to find out who it was.
Happy. Look there on the ground. See what's scattered around the pump?
Callium seeds.
Right.
Well, I guess we know who turned the pump on, sir.
I've known Captain Kruger a long time. I can't imagine him doing a thing like this.
Shall I pick up some of these seeds, sir, for evidence?
Yes. Then let's get back to Titan Center.
I don't understand it, Commander. I don't see how Kruger or anyone else knew that I told you about the secret mine.
He could have seen our ship headed that way and followed us in Lonesome Lena.
Well, if he did, he must be working with a gang. While you were gone, something happened here.
Oh?
Some antibiotics were stolen. Several thousand credits worth. The worst part of it is they're urgently needed at a hospital in Saturn. There's an epidemic of Zeta virus at Saturn City.
Well, can't they send medicine in from some other planet?
Well, this particular antibiotic is made here on Titan. There is some on the other planets, but there isn't enough time to get it. And if a supply of the medicine isn't taken to Saturn very soon, the doctors say a lot of cases will prove fatal.
Yeah, there must be some more of that medicine here on Titan. Maybe McCurdy can help us out.
I've already talked to McCurdy. He said he's contacted every possible source. The thieves stole every bit of it and will now hold out for a fancy prize.
Well, they won't have to hold out long.
Commander, do you think Kruger's mixed up in this, too?
We're going to find out, Happy. Let's find the Lonesome Lena.
Corey!
Captain Kruger.
I won't be persecuted. Not by the Space Patrol or anybody else. I'm getting a raw deal. And if you're as fair-minded as I think you are, you'll agree with me.
Is the raw deal you're getting as bad as being nearly drowned in a flooded mine?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Show him the evidence, Happy.
Yes, sir. Recognize these, Captain?
Well, of course, they're calcium seeds.
We found them by the pump, Kruger.
Pump? What pump?
In the opening of the secret shaft near the uranium mine.
I'm not interested in any uranium mines. I want justice. Commander, look what that McCurdy has done to me now. You see this paper? It's a doctor's order telling me I can't make any more commercial space flights. McCurdy has been trying to get the official doctors on me for months. We finally succeeded. They gave me a checkup, and I'm grounded.
Let me see that.
For 6 hours, they gave me tests. Heart, blood pressure, metabolism, the works.
This is Dr. Greer's signature, all right.
Yeah. But just read what he says.
Captain Kruger's condition makes any further space flights extremely dangerous. As a space physician, I deem it inadvisable for Captain Kruger to be permitted to operate any commercial spacecraft for reasons of his own safety and the safety of others. Signed, Dr. Melvin Greer.
What am I going to do now, Commander? I'll starve to death. I'd rather go quick, blasting off on a spaceship.
Just a minute, Captain. This physical examination must have taken several hours.
I just told you it did.
Then you couldn't have been at the mine.
Mine? I haven't been near any mine. I haven't been anywhere but in a doctor's office getting needles stuck in me. And that isn't all. While the doc was working on me, there was a gang of inspectors checking over Lonesome Lena.
Official Space Patrol inspectors?
Yeah. That's another thing McCurdy's been trying to arrange for months. I admit I've been dodging inspection because I knew what they'd say. Me and Lonesome Lena were both out of commission.
I'm sorry about that, Captain Kruger.
Yeah, you're sorry.
But you can be thankful for one thing. This examination clears you of suspicion. Someone has been trying very hard to implicate you in a serious crime.
Well, that's not news to me, Commander.
I have an idea who it might be.
You mean McCurdy, sir?
Now, wait a minute. I know McCurdy has it in for me, but I'd say this for him. He tried to get Dr. Greer to postpone the physical examination.
Oh, he did. After trying for months to bring it about.
Yeah, but it didn't do any good. The doc said I was too slippery an old cuss to take chances with. So I was stuck.
Happy. Tonga, we're going to find McCurdy. Captain, you stay around close in case I need you.
Don't worry, Commander. I won't be going anywhere.
There he is, sir. Heading for that atmosphere ship.
He certainly seems in a hurry.
Tonga, wait here. Come on, Happy.
McCurdy, wait a minute. He's running for the ship, sir.
McCurdy, hold it. I want to talk to you. What is it, Commander? I've got a few questions I'd like to ask. Of course. We've just come from your office. From the looks of things, you left in a hurry. In fact, it looks as though you didn't intend to come back.
Should that concern the Space Patrol, Commander?
Possibly. Where were you going?
I happen to have business at Torkman on the other side of Titan. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Not until you explain that purple stain on your hands.
What?
That purple stain on your hands, could it be from calcium seeds?
Calcium seeds? Why, what would I be doing with calcium seeds?
Scattering them around a pump, maybe?
That package you're holding, what's in it?
This has gone far enough. Stand back and get your hands up.
You ought to be quicker than that, McCurdy. Oh, let go of that ray gun. That's it. Now, don't try anything like that again.
Commander, this package he's got. Look at the label. Acro Laboratories, Titan Center. Antibiotics. This must be the medicine that was to go to Saturn.
Take it back to Tonga. We'll blast off for Saturn right away.
You won't get off Titan in your ship, Corey.
Why not?
I put your controls out of commission so you couldn't follow me. And there isn't any other ship on the satellite except my atmosphere ship. And that won't take you there.
I'm afraid he's right, Commander.
You'll have to space up onto Saturn for a ship to come and get us.
Oh, but that will take hours. The situation on Saturn is critical.
Commander!
Yes, Captain?
Well, I see you got McCurdy.
Yes, and the medicine.
Yeah, but McCurdy's wrecked our ship. There's no way to get off of Titan.
Well, how about the Lonesome Lena?
But Lena's grounded.
Just a lot of official space jabber. She'll still fly. And by Jupiter, I'm taking you all to Saturn.
You'd better let me take your ship, Captain, after what the doctor said.
Commander, I know you're the best pilot in the solar system, but Lena's sort of, temperamental. She's got a lot of quirks and things. If she isn't handled just right, she just might go all to pieces.
Are you sure you're willing to risk a blast-off in Lena after what the doctor said?
Commander, I'm safer in Lonesome Lena than anywhere in the universe.
Then let's go. Come on, McCurdy. We're taking you with us.
Not in that pile of junk. It isn't safe.
Get going.
The ship's condemned. You have no right to endanger my life.
Why, you low-frequency crook. As though your life was worth a allium seed.
Let's go. Bring the medicine, Happy.
All right, everybody. Sit tight. We're going to blast off.
Look at those controls. Why, well, they're just patched together.
Keep quiet, McCurdy. All right, Captain, when you're ready.
Wait just a minute. I got a few more adjustments to make here. Like I said, Lena's temperamental. You sort of got a sense what to do.
I admit I've never seen a control set up like this.
Are you ready, everybody?
Yes.
All set. Let her go.
And here we go. Commander. We're spaceborne.
An excellent blast-off, Captain.
Yeah, just like I said.
Captain, what's wrong? I'm going to get the first aid kit, if there is one.
He's passed out. Now what are we going to do?
Happy. Yes, Commander? Help me lift the captain out of the pilot's seat. Yes, sir. There. Happy, you and Tom will see what you can do to make him comfortable. I'll take the Lonesome Lena into Saturn. How you doing, Commander? All right so far, Happy. We're 2 minutes out of Saturn City Spaceport. How's the captain? He seems to be coming out of it, sir. Conga's trying to make him lie down back aft. You had me worried for a while. I hope he can take the landing. It'll be just as bad as the blast-off with this antiquated equipment. Have you space-phoned the hospital, sir? Yes. The chief physician says that if we get the medicine there in half an hour, we'll be in time. Oh, we can do that easy. Yes, I can land this Hulk without crashing. Stand by for landing.
Commander!
Captain Kruger! I just couldn't make him stay in the bunk, Commander.
Oh, I'm sorry I conked out on you, but I see you got everything under control. You think you can handle the landing, Commander, or do you want me to...
I'd better take her in, Captain, in case you...
Oh, sure. But if I just might make a suggestion... But that's it! Thunder and comets, Commander, you sure know how to handle Lonesome Lena.
Here we go. Brace yourselves.
That's it. You've got it.
We made it. Captain, are you all right?
Oh, just fine. That was a great landing, Commander. I couldn't have done better myself.
Say, you took that pretty well.
Oh, I found some calcium seeds back aft. Nothing like them for space flying. You have some, Cadet?
This time you've got a customer, Captain. I don't feel so well.
This is Commander Corey.
And Marvin Miller.
Reminding you that pulling up to your breakfast table...
is like pulling up to a filling station.
Give him our example, Marvin.
A jet cycle has just pulled into a filling station to get its tank filled.
The man has it filled with ordinary fuel. Listen. Not much go in that jet cycle, is there?
Now listen to the same jet cycle filled with super fuel. That cycle's flying like a rocket now because it's supercharged with super fuel.
Same thing is true for you, gang. To get going in the morning, you need super fuel, too.
So get supercharged the way space patrollers do.
Eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston, the hot super cereal.
Instant Ralston helps you to think fast.
And act fast.
So remember, when you pull up to your breakfast table, it's just like pulling up to a filling station. You're there for fuel.
Super fuel. So you can get supercharged. Take a tip. Eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston and get supercharged. Get it today in the red and white checkerboard package. Good hot Ralston.
And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy have gone to the offices of John Crozer to rescue a noted scientist abducted by Crozer.
I know Professor Hegman is somewhere in this building, Crozer. Take us to him.
Why, Commander, you're mistaken.
Oh, no, we're not.
Don't sit there under that sun lamp. Take me to Hegman.
Well, all right, Corey. If you insist.
Hey, my eyes! Turn that lamp off! Get him, Happy. I can't see.
Here's yours, Cadet. Now, Corey, I'm going to finish you off permanently.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Brain Bank and the Space Binoculars, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol!
And now, gang, here's a word from Cadet Happy.
Boys and girls, this is Cadet Happy. Do you know how life-giving oxygen is carried to the cells of the body? By the bloodstream. So when a person loses a great deal of blood in an accident or in sickness, there's not enough blood left to do that job. Result? The person dies. So will you help me save lives by joining the Space Patrol Blood Boosters? It's fun. It's patriotic. So join the Space Patrol Blood Boosters today.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Marvin Miller, Nina Vara, and Norman Jolly. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local newspaper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.